This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
You know that feeling you have when you're around dogs? That dog vergnügen. That's a made-up word from our guest today. It means the feel-good feeling, like you're exactly where you want to be. It's that feeling that inspired John and Gila Kurtz of the brand Dog is Good to create this now very successful lifestyle brand. They do so much, and we're going to unpack some of that today in our interview with Gila. I'm Jody Miller-Young, and you're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. We're going to take a short break from our sponsor, so grab that favorite beverage, get comfortable, and we'll be right back.
Here's an alarming statistic. More than 2/3 of dogs and cats have oral health disease by the age of 3, and one of the indicators is bad breath. Do your pets have a healthy mouth? Do you cringe when it's time for a kiss or a snuggle? Let's get to the cause. Harmful bacteria in their mouth. And bad breath is just the start. The bad bacteria cause tartar and oral disease, which can lead to serious overall health problems. It's critical to make sure your pet's oral health is the best it can be, as good dental health is key to optimizing their overall health. Now, good news. It's easy and affordable to improve their oral health with Probiora Pet. Just 1 scoop of this dental care probiotic mixed into their food daily floods the mouth with positive bacteria, which crowds out the bad. This means better oral health and fresher breath. Probiora Pet is an all-natural dental care probiotic. It's odor and taste-free, so your pets will still enjoy their chow. We want to keep your pets healthy. During National Pet Oral Health Month, our listeners can save 10%. Go to probiorapet.com and use PLR10 at checkout. That's probiorapet.com. Use PLR10 at checkout to save 10%.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. If you just joined, you're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm Jody Miller-Young. Today, we're talking with Gila Kurtz of the dog lifestyle brand Dog is Good. Gila is a serial entrepreneur, like me, who has been recognized as one of the top 25 women of influence in the pet industry by Pet Age magazine and Woman of the Year award for Women in the Pet Industry Network. Dog is Good does so much. Fashion, home goods, pop art, pride, giving back. We're going to get into all of it. So let's not waste any more time and welcome her. Hey, Gila.
Hi, Jody.
It's great to have you on the show. Before we get into the specific areas you cover in the brand, there's a story about how you and John decided to create Dog is Good that I thought was wonderful. Tell us about it.
Okay. I'm sitting here chuckling because I thought you were going to say, before we get started, there's a great story about how you guys met. I thought that's what you were going to ask.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. That's
okay.
Another, yes, because that is awesome. A great story.
Good research. Okay. Yeah. Dog is Good. I mean, my background is as a professional dog trainer. I've been doing that for now over 20 years. I can hardly believe that. But many years ago, a little over a decade ago, I was at a continuing education conference. And at that event, there was an exhibit hall where there was a individual selling T-shirts. And as I stood in front of the booth looking at what was available, I thought to myself, because what I saw was all basically white T-shirts with dog breeds on them and the words, I love my, and then you basically selected what breed. And I remembered at the time just how my life was being impacted by these amazing animals through the work that I was doing as a trainer, not just for me personally, but for the families I was working with. And I remember thinking, gosh, I do love my dog. I know my clients love their dogs, but it's actually something deeper than that. And at the moment, I couldn't quite articulate what that was. I just knew it was more than I love my dog. And home and I said to John, I have this thought. I wish there was something that really expressed the way that I felt about dogs and how dogs were impacting my life, but also on something that's really cute and fun and fashionable that I would actually wear. And literally in that moment of conversation, he's like, well, you know what? There's nothing out there. Why don't you just create it? And so together we decided to do that. And he came up with the name Dog is Good. And from there, we just started on our journey.
And he came up with the name because he's got a really great sense of humor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was a play. Tell us about that. It was a play on another very popular phrase.
Yeah, it's a play on God is good. And we figured out dog is God spelled backwards. And while we didn't intend for it to be a religious base, which it is not, what we knew was that in essence, I think all dog lovers would agree that probably one of the most perfect creatures that God did create was dog. And the halo, the canted halo, is a kind of a little reference to the fact that dogs are good, yes, and yet they can also be a little naughty and create a little mischief.
Don't we all know that?
In our lives at times too, but at the end of the day, it's all good.
Exactly. And, you're on Bark and Swagger, living stylishly with your dog, and they are stylish products and they're adorable and they're wonderful. And it includes so much. Some of my favorite collections are Pop Art, It's All Fun and Games, Pride, Dog Mom, and of course, Rescue. Talk to us about how these collections came about and who comes up with these super great one-liners on the goods. And give some examples, please, because they are funny and wonderful.
Well, they are funny. I mean, we do get to sit around and do a little brainstorming. It can be a lot of fun there. The essence of it really boils down to who is the dog lover, right? Who is that the other end of the leash, and what are they about, and why is dog so important to them? We know truly to our core that dogs do change the way you see the world. And I believe that every one of our fans and all dog lovers out there would agree with me on that. Every dog that comes into our life brings to us lessons and adventures and moments of just pure bliss and really, quite honestly, true happiness. And especially now more so than ever. And I can share a little about my thoughts on that. But so we that, like, who is this dog lover and how are they living their lives with these amazing creatures? And so when we come up with stuff, it's really to highlight the lifestyle that one is leading with their dog. So, in Never Walk Alone, at the end of the day, right, we all walk our dogs, or at least we should be walking them. We walk our dogs, but there are many moments in our lives where we might feel alone, let's say. So in Never Walk Alone, it's not where you walk, it's who walks with you. It's this dog connected to you in a very poignant way, not just through the leash, but in a more powerful way. And so the message always has a deeper meaning. Or it's all fun and games until someone ends up in a cone. I mean,
I love that one.
That was very first. And I forget where John is the one that actually came up with that one. But I think it was, reminds us of our parents who used to always say things like when you're playing around or you're goofing off and, soon there'll be tears. Oh, sure. It's all fun and games until we end up in the hospital, things like that. And so that's kind of where some of that stuff came from. But we know, like, for families dealing with their dogs in a cone, it's just a, sad experience for these dogs to have to go through. And so everybody,
everyone can relate.
Early on, the Your Dog Doesn't Know Sit design, which was an early design that was very popular, came out of me training one evening and coming home and sharing with John that, I'm talking to my client and the client keeps saying to their dog, sit, 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 sit. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, your dog doesn't know sit. Okay. As I said it, I'm like, oh, that could be a clever thought for a t-shirt. And it just kind of goes on and on. The pop art line is super fun too. And
I love it.
Came up with all sorts of clever messages for that. And then hired an artist who was very talented in that type of art style. Yeah. And so that's how we do it. We measure everything that we create based on the core mission of the brand, which is to deliver dog Vergnügen, what you shared earlier.
Yes.
That we define it. It's the unique joy you get in the presence of dog, and it's the way that you live your life. And then as we have evolved over the years, we've also added to our mission of to change lives one dog at a time. And so the messages have that secondary meaning for living, for who we are as human beings and how we can become better humans purely because of the dogs that are in our life.
Absolutely. And you'll be able to see photos of some of the pieces in these collections on the Bark and Swagger page of the Pet Life Radio site. Now, listeners should know too that your products span everything from tees and tanks and lots of other apparel and accessories, totes, home goods like pillows, wine glasses, corks, mugs, magnets. What are some of your more or most popular items that people gravitate towards?
Yeah, I think the most popular is the core apparel line. I mean, people love to wear how they feel about their dogs with the rest of the world. And that really has always been the essence of the brand, that the brand becomes an extension of who they are as an individual and as a dog lover. If you think about it, sports fans wear their favorite team member on a jersey. They have the license plate things, to share, like a Lakers fan, or I'm a, Knicks fan, or whatever the case may be, if it's basketball or football, I'm a Patriots fan or Buccaneers. And it's the same thing with dogs. Like, it gives, in this world of social conversation, it gives people a way to truly express who they are and how they live their lives as a dog lover each and every day.
Perfect. Now, in addition to being a business entrepreneur, you're an author, you're an accomplished storyteller, speaker, coach. Tell us about your best-selling book.
Thanks, Jody. Actually, Right before jumping on this call, we had a store order 54 copies of it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's
wow.
All of them and talk to them. And it's very humbling though, but I'm extremely proud of it, because at the end of the day, that book, Fur-Covered Wisdom, A Dog Can Change the Way You See the World, was a journey of self-discovery through the eyes of dog. I know I'm not unique in this. Externally, people look at individuals and they make assumptions based on what they see via social media or their perception of what's going on in their life. And outwardly, everything can look perfect, and certainly absolutely the case. I have a thriving business. And at the time prior to when the book was written, there was so much happening and so much growth occurring and so much success by external definitions of success taking place that I was not prepared for. And so when I often ask individuals, what does success look like to you? I ask them to have some real clarity around their answer, because I did not. And so my life, despite the outward appearance of success, really was unraveling on the inside. And there was a point at which it absolutely imploded. It was a very private implosion, but it was a very serious implosion that threw me into severe clinical depression. And that was, it was very serious. Now, fortunately, I was able to obviously pull myself out of that, got support through therapy and also through medications that helped with that initially. But really, the real essence of it and breakthrough came through my commitment to live life inspired by my dog, looking at her and the joy that she experienced each and every moment. There was this pivotal morning sitting on my bed and looking at her and watching how she took on the day and kind of praying to God and saying, gosh, if I could just wake up like her every day, just give me one day at a time and I'll string them together and I will pull myself out of this. And that's really what happened. And so over the course of that about 8 to 12 month period, I did go through a very focused personal transformation. I'm a very disciplined individual. So even though I was in the depths of despair, I at least had that provided me with the fuel necessary to take one step at a time every single day. And the book is the culmination of that. And in it are the lessons learned, and then the practical application of those things. And I really think that right now, especially right now, in a time where we're kind of still a little bit isolated to a degree, even though lockdowns are kind of random around the country, it's been a different year for everybody, almost 2 years at this point. It's 18 months, whatever it's been at the time of this recording. And, we're so technologically connected, but we're so disconnected at the same time. And our dogs are the only things that really have this pure, authentic connection with us, even people that were, living in the same household with us. You could be in a conversation, and I guarantee you that unless you are both committed or the whole family is committed to putting their phones down, they're halfway in and we're all the way there. And that's why people are so drawn to them and lean on them for those things at this stage in time. And so the book For Covered Wisdom, I think, is a great opportunity for people to kind of sit back and do a little self-assessment and decide what's important and commit to at least one thing that they really want, something that they want to experience, whether it's personally or professionally, but something that, really creates joy for them. At the end of the day, that's really all that matters, because if you feel good, then you behave differently. And if you're behaving differently, you're impacting the people around you differently. And there becomes this incredible ripple effect that takes place. So anyway, that's really the joy of that book. I love it. And I'm grateful that people are still drawn to it.
Super inspiring and super powerful. Gila, that was amazing. Tell us a little bit about your dog who acted as your bridge during that time.
Yes, Bolo, who is crushed up right now, my yellow lab. Bolo is also the name of the logo dog for Dog is Good. It stands for Be on the Lookout. And for It's Good, that's what it is for Dog is Good. But for our household, it's Be on the Lookout. There's food around. Our dog is sure to get it. She's a true lab. So Bolo came to us through Leader Dogs for the Blind. She was a corporate giving project, if you will. We wanted to raise a puppy for Leader Dogs for the Blind, create a campaign around their cause, and design products that would support their mission through fundraising, as well as creating awareness for them. And I raised Bolo for that first year. Was fantastic. And when I returned her, obviously that was a very hard goodbye. But the director of philanthropic giving was really quite amazing and bridged to me, without even discussing how sad it was to let her go, just shared with me the stories of the individuals whose lives were so profoundly changed by having a guide dog in their life, or a leader dog in the case of Leader Dogs. And so I felt great about that. And about 7 weeks into her second phase of training, they called me to tell me that she was going to be career change, which basically meant she just really wasn't well suited for the remainder of the program. And quite honestly, what it was is she just didn't want to work. She would hire kennel, and only about 50% of those kinds of dogs actually make it all the way through the program for various reasons. But nonetheless, being the former, or I should say, I'm still a recovering perfectionist and wanting to do good and do right by both Leader Dogs and the potential person that would receive her. That's what kind of was the final catalyst that threw me into that depression. I felt like I had failed, that I just had such a warped view of myself and my life at that point in time, which was compounded by all the things that I was doing. It was very difficult. But so when Bolo came back to us, which of course we wanted to take her back, I just kind of leaned on her. She's my heart dog. All dog lovers sort of have that one dog that gets into their heart in a very different way than the other dogs. Not that you love anyone more than the other. They're just different. And she lights my light up every single day. And quite honestly, every day she teaches me something. Even when I'm not realizing it, I'll just sometimes be sitting there in the morning and some things will pop up in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, just something about her and how it parallels with something I'm going through. And it's like, wow, that is just so amazing that this came up right in this moment based on something that I'm going through. And so I just love her. I love her to death. She's the best.
The universe works in really, really amazing ways. And if we are open and we notice, they teach us so much. And you know what? You were meant to have Bolo. So there you go.
Totally.
Right?
I always said, like, I think towards the end, I share that. I'm like, she was brought into this world to help someone visually impaired. And she ended up with somebody who was so impaired in a sense, in terms of the way that I viewed myself in the world at that time. Amazing. So super
amazing. Helpful. Amazing the way you describe that. Amazing. So your partner in crime is your husband, John Kurtz, a career Navy veteran. And that great story about how you guys met that you talked about earlier, it is a great story. Please share it with my listeners.
Yeah, I do love this. I don't think there's too many people who meet this way, but I met John at a fundraising event for the March of Dimes, which sounds amazing, but it was a bid for bachelor auction. And I remember walking into that. I didn't even want to go. I had just ended my college sweetheart relationship. And I only went to this event because my roommate's boyfriend at the time was actually one of the bachelors. So I was like, all right, I'll go. Anyway, we get in there and all the bachelors are wearing boutonnieres. That's how you identify them. And I remember seeing John from across the room thinking, wow, he's cute. I wouldn't mind meeting him. And then they give you a booklet that every bachelor answered the same questions and their answers were in this booklet. And I was reading through them and, most of the answers were just pretty lame. Stupid. But there was this one, number 16. And I was like, ooh, I like this guy's answers. I wonder which one he is. Well, anyway, number 4 comes out on stage. It's the 4th guy and it's John. And I was like, oh, that's the one guy that I thought was really cute. And so I look him up in the book and I'm reading the answers and I was like, oh man, what a shame. It was not resonating with me. And then they announced, oh, we have a correction. This is actually number 16 in your
my
book.
God.
And that was the page that I flagged. And I was like, holy cow, it's meant to be. So I decide I'm going to bid, and I bid early on. So the bids were low. And this was my strategy. I'm going to bid, and then somebody's going to overbid me. And then I'm going to go up to him and talk to him and just say, oh, I want to introduce myself because I actually bid on you, but didn't quite make the cut in terms of the bids. And that was going to be my strategy. But what ended up happening was nobody overbid me. So I was like, oh my goodness, I actually have to buy this guy. I don't even have cash with me. I had to put him on my credit card. And so our local paper in Annapolis area, they ended up featuring us on the front cover of the style section, even though there was quote unquote the local celebs. And I always joke, or John likes to joke, I should say. He likes to end the story with, she bought me, but I've been paying for it ever since. So that's
sense
of
humor. That is amazing. That's another universe intervene type of thing. He was number 16. Totally.
Yeah,
wow.
We've been married 32 years now. So.
Oh, that is so sweet. Yeah. I love it. I love that story. You are all about empowering people, especially women. And there are listeners who may be interested in starting their own pet businesses. I know that I've spoken with, listeners in the past who have been doing that, and it's always challenging, but yours is a great model. And you have a special sort of pop-up program for people who want a fresh start and support to become entrepreneurs in their own businesses. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is my heart project. I cannot even begin to tell you of all the things that we do at Dog is Good, and we have many different verticals. This is the one that brings the most joy to me, and it is because I am watching people, mostly women, I will say, although we love ourselves some great men in our community, but it is mostly women, and to watch them transform as human beings, to see them with newfound confidence, with having fun, making money, contributing to the causes they believe in. It is very exciting for me. And it's what absolutely drives me and gets me out of bed. But the pop-up program, it is very unique. And it is an opportunity for any dog lover to begin a business on the side. Most people start as a side hustle. Some people have goals where they decide, look, I want to leave my career and replace my income and just operate this. And others didn't have a business beforehand and built this up to where it's this full-time gig that they do. And everybody has their own goal. We don't have, specifications, but it is a mobile business. It's not just going to events. There's totally other operations where they're basically bringing a Dog is Good mobile store and building their own business. And the best part about it really is the community, I have to say. Yes, you can make money, and I'm going to tell you, you can. And yes, you can have fun because it's a total blast to be doing anything where you're just around other people who love dogs. And yeah, you can be incredibly philanthropic if you choose. And at the end of the day, what do we all want as people? We want to feel as though we matter. And so the community that we have intentionally put together is really built on those values, the values that have been discussed in one of my favorite books called The Go-Giver. And everybody in the community is a go-giver. And so I think right now people just want a sense of belonging and a sense that they matter. And we work really hard to bring out the best in each person and help them have better clarity for what they want in life and in this business and how this fits in to meet those same goals and provide the support. Literally, they get ridiculous amount of support and we love every minute of it. And so it's been just so much fun. So for anybody even considering or thinking about wanting to learn about it, all you have to do is just hop on a 15-minute call with me and I can explain it. But we can provide you with the link too, Jody, to pop
in. And when we come back, we're gonna take a short break. But when we come back, I definitely want you to tell anyone interested how they can go about doing that and become a brand ambassador for Dog is Good. So we're gonna pause here for a quick moment for a short break from our sponsors. But don't go away. Important information to come. So refresh that beverage. Get cozy. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back, right after we kibble a little with our sponsors.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, Stitcher, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. If you've just joined, you're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm Jody Miller-Young, and we're here today with Gila Kurtz of Dog is Good. We were talking about how Dog is Good offers an amazing pop-up program for aspiring entrepreneurs to create something of their own. And I want to talk a little bit more about that and how people interested might be able to start on that process with you to doing that.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to add, because I just was thinking about this, something that a lot of pet sitters and dog trainers and dog walkers don't often consider is how can I create more powerful marketing strategies to sell my services? And the pop-up program really actually is a tremendous opportunity to do that, because they can be at events, they can be out and about in their communities. And while they are generating revenue through the sales of hard good products, they can also be promoting their services as well and becoming, known for all the different things that they do. So I just wanted to share that is not only for people first considering a career in the pet world, but also somebody who may be in it as a marketing tool to grow their other service-based business. So just wanted to share that. And then the way to find out about it is on the Dog is Good website. On the bottom of the page, so under the fold, there is a link that you can go to request more information. But I will say that we have plenty of room. Currently in the country, we have a little over 50 pop-ups. That's in all around the country. So you can imagine the tremendous room for opportunity there. And we can only take probably about another 50 over the next year, because we do provide so much training, support, guidance, and we're very dedicated to what we're doing with each person. So for anybody that's interested, I would click the link to at least learn more. And there is a spot because everybody has different levels of entry and goals and things. So we just meet everybody where they're at.
Perfect. Now, Dog is Good has developed a reputation of being very generous and giving back as well. You've got Dog is Good for Good. Tell us about the programs you support under that banner.
Dog is Good for Good just got certified as a nonprofit in April of 2021. And I have to tell you, yeah, it's brand new. It's a little baby, but this has been such a heart project. And what really moves me more than anything is that we did not actually do all the work to make that happen. One of our existing pop-up operators is so vested in the mission and the message of what our brand is about and what we stand for. And she really took it upon herself to initiate the process of getting this nonprofit going. And so I am like forever indebted and grateful that somebody believed in our mission as much as we do to want to see this come to fruition. Because we've always had a corporate giving program, but never our own nonprofit foundation. So the Dog is Good for Good Foundation, our mission is to serve hyper-local organizations in which their programs highlight people helping dogs help people. So as an example, it might mean that individuals are helping animal welfare organizations whose dogs then go on to provide some sort of service or support for, let's say, veterans in need, children in crisis, therapy dogs for the elderly, support for physically disabled. So, but these hyper-local ones that just have more difficulty raising funds, we want to be able to provide support for them. So we'll be providing grants. The secondary aspect of it is a program that is going to get piloted in 2022. And this is called the Bolo Project, again, named after Bolo. Be on the lookout. And the lookout is for future inspired leaders and go-givers. And so it is a 16-week project program for 10th through 12th graders, during which they'll have access to curriculum that focuses on growth mindset, financial education, leadership development, and then this project. And the project will be where they identify a local animal welfare organization in their community. They assess that organization's needs. They develop a project that they will implement over the 16 weeks to address whatever their specific need is. It might be fundraising. It might be collecting goods. It might be building something for the shelter. It might be updating their social media. I mean, it just depends on what that organization's needs are, and they will have to work as a team. And our intention is that they'll develop not only leadership skills, but good communication skills. They'll get credit for their volunteer work in their community, et cetera, service hours, community service hours, and that it'll be a full-blown program. And then funds from Dog is Good for Good will go to provide scholarships to youth in crisis. So youth maybe from single-family homes or who are overcoming addiction or who have some other challenges that maybe they just need a little extra nudge, to help them enter the world of growth and to see what's possible for them, because everything is possible for anybody.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. Really a 360 view and a very conscious company. I love it. Last thing I wanted to touch on, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, Gila, is you created a very cool Facebook Live weekly event called the Dog is Good Lifestyle Show back in 2017. And if listeners were to go to your show page, which they can access on your website, what kind of people would they find there that you've interviewed?
Well, one of the first people they're going to find is, of course, you, Jody.
Yes, that's true. That was very recent. And that was a lot of fun. Thank you.
That was. We have an eclectic offering.
But lots of opportunity for education. I saw Dr. Marty Goldstein on there.
A lot of so it goes around the whole lifestyle aspect, right? So a lot of education as it relates to improving the health and well-being of your pet. So number one there. Secondarily, it might be things that, whether it's training information or it could be activity, adventure oriented, or just fun stories, like real people doing real things, living real lives with their dog. Those would be the kinds of things that we do. We are always looking for new guests. And so if people know individuals that they want to highlight or share, we currently are striving towards a twice a month offering of that show. I really like doing it. I love getting the opportunity to meet the people. I'm so curious about people and what drives them and how they discover what they discover and what they're doing to give back to the world. I love being able to share them with the platform.
I had a great time you're a good interviewer too, Gila. It was a lot of fun telling people about homeopathy and my course and whatnot. Is there anything more that you'd like to talk about during our time together that I've left out?
I think the only thing that I would add is, we've covered it all, which is great. And I absolutely want to encourage everybody to go to the Dog is Good website. We are happy to offer you guys a coupon. We're going to call it BARK20. And
Yay!
That'll be available at the time of airing. So BARK20 at checkout will get you a 20% discount off of your order. And then the only other thing I would say is this, one of my missions is to positively impact the lives of 1 million people and help them fetch a life worth barking about. That's something that's really important to me. And so if you have organizations that you bring speakers into, I would love the opportunity to do a talk, whether it's on leadership, self-leadership, or, how does one learn to live a life inspired by dog and really take that more seriously to create the life that they love.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gila, for being here today. Thank you for being generous and offering Bark and Swagger listeners a discount code. We're very lucky. It's been wonderful to share this time with you. You have an amazing business and you are an amazing lady. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Jody. You're amazing. I appreciate you. And,
please. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to our producer, Mark Winter. Mark, you make us sound so good. We love you for that. My passion is living stylishly, animal rescue, and health. So tune in next time to discover the designers, home decor, rescue stories, and health experts that I love and I think are important to share. So until next time, when fierce fashion calls, bark and swagger.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.